We are in Forza Horizon 6, and we're going to be kind of closing this up here. I don't know what's up with that there. Network diagnosis, get out of here. We're going to try to close up some of these tests here. This is an RTX 5050 laptop, RTX 5050 laptop. One of the nice things about the 5050 here is we do have access to 8 gigabytes of VRAM, just like the 5070, which is crazy that NVIDIA decided to put out 3 classes of GPU with a huge difference in performance and all 8 gigabytes. Luckily, the 5070 is coming out with a 12 gigabyte this year, anytime now. And I've already tested the 5070 and the 4070, and I've shown that the 8 gigabyte VRAM on the 5070 is absolutely a bottleneck, where you're actually leaving quite a bit of performance on the table, and the GPU's not able to perform as much as it should because it's hitting a VRAM bottleneck. Here, we have the same amount of VRAM, but it is a fair bit weaker GPU. So I actually don't suspect we'll have too much of a VRAM issue here at all because, it's better matched. We have a reasonably powerful GPU with a reasonable match for VRAM. So anyways, we'll start with 1600p there. We'll play with it a little bit, but we'll start with that. And it is native, there's no scaling. I've been noticing that DLSS just doesn't work in this game. I've tried all kinds of different systems and I've had issues with it, so just so you know. So this is 1600p, which is actually a higher resolution than 1440p. And we'll just play for a moment here, and it'll run just fine, to be honest. We're getting 80 FPS at 1440p. It's on medium, by the way, medium. It's not the highest settings, but it's 1440p medium native. And yeah, it's just very... If you want a higher FPS experience, this is probably the way to go at 1600p. It's very good, to be honest. I'm exporting to an external screen because this laptop only it doesn't have a 1600p. I can't do 1600p or 1440p resolution, but a lot of laptops will come with 1440p or 1600p with a 5050, so this allows me to do it. I'm not doing game capture. I've noticed, game capture is good, but you can get some weird quirks like tearing, and it does introduce one more layer. So this is not as clean of a setup, but then I know this is what you will actually get. It's eliminating one variable, put it that way. And I think people here are more concerned about performance than anything, so let's not have problems. Anyways, so that's good. We can turn up the settings. We will have the VRAM. We'll have the VRAM to go up quite a bit, to be honest. It's not going to be a problem here. So we'll come up here. We will go up to high. I do not suspect any problems on high. I suspect it'll be closer to 60 FPS, though. This is my guess. I could be totally wrong. I was totally wrong. There's not as much of a difference between medium and high in this game. You'll see that when we start to turn it up higher, there's a big jump. VRAM, not a problem at high, at all, whatsoever. So high is going to run very well, right? Okay, let's go up even higher. We will also have enough at 1600p. Now, for some reason, the actual resolution doesn't affect VRAM really that much that I can tell. Some games they do, some games they don't. Traditionally, it actually affects it more than you'd think. But I've noticed some more recent games, like the Capcom engine games, Pragmata, Resident Evil Requiem, and now this, where resolution does not appear to affect VRAM at all. So once you load in the textures, you load in the textures. After that, the 1080p versus 4K, it's not going to make any difference. It'll just affect raw performance. So this is 1600p Ultra. So if you have a 1600p laptop and you throw out an Ultra, it is going to run fine. It's not getting a 60, but it's pretty close, right? 56 on average. So we'll go into the city and see. 56 on average with good lows. It doesn't feel laggy. Yeah, this is fine. We'll go into the city just to see, if we can get it to drop down. It goes down a little bit, but we're still at 50, so it's actually not that bad. Okay, now I'm going to show you something. We cannot do extreme. We don't really have the performance anyways, which is why I kind of said, the VRAM here is actually well matched, because 8 gigabytes is not enough for extreme. It'll crash. It'll kick us back into the menu. So it's not enough VRAM, but the thing is the 5050 wouldn't have enough power to run extreme anyways. Maybe with scaling it would, but right, it's going to warn us here. It's going to be like, you don't have enough VRAM. But in the couple seconds that it does before it blows up, we can see here, it shouldn't let us. I've had no system, there you go. Yeah, see that crash out there? But you can see the raw performance outside of the lows. Just get an idea from it where you don't have enough per raw performance to hit 60 anyways. You're at like 45 with extreme. We're also hitting horrible VRAM bottlenecks. It may not show it in the corner, but you know, we're getting like super bad lows. And at some point it might actually be like, you can't run this. Like it'll just be not enough. There's not enough memory to hold the textures. So, but you can see how terrible the lows are with extreme. And it's not just, this is not raw performance, because you know 30 to 40 should be fine. It's just we don't have the VRAM, so we're hitting a bottleneck and the lows are terrible. So that's that. Now I will show you quickly here. I showed it on some other video, or all my other videos. I'll show you DLSS. Right, so we can come in here. We can actually, well, actually, you know what? Let's go back to where we know it's going to work. So we're going to go discard. We're going to go back to here. We're going to go to graphics. We are going to turn it back down. We know that Ultra for sure has enough VRAM. We were getting good lows. Everything was nice and smooth. And then what we're going to do is we're going to throw in some scaling here. Right, so we'll come back here, and there's no scaling. Right, I'll just sit for a sec, or coast. So 50-ish, around 50. We know what we were getting on Ultra. It's around there, 50 to 60. Okay, now we're going to come down here, and we are going to throw on DLSS. We can turn it way up. Now, I don't know what this is. I think it's driver overhead. It would, like people were saying, it could be a CPU bottleneck, and it could be, like it is possible. But I even tried like at 4K. Like I cranked some of my games up to 4K with reasonably low settings, high settings, really offload onto the GPU. The CPU was at like 20% usage, and even then, it wasn't working. And you can see it doesn't do anything, right? Performance scaling, performance DLSS should massively increase your performance because you're halving the resolution, more than halving it. We'll be at like, I don't even know what we'd be at here. We would be, I got 1600p, we'd be at like 7 something p render. So I mean, yeah, it's not working. So I'm getting to the point now where it's very obvious that DLSS is not working yet. They may fix it. It may be working on desktop because apparently from what I've seen, it did work on desktop tests. It could be a mobile, like the mobile uses different drivers than a desktop. So it could be something to do with the mobile, it could be something to do with the game engine, it could be something to do with the CPU, driver overhead. I've tried bigger CPUs than this. I've tried like the AMD 350, I've tried Intel HX chips. I've tried all kinds of stuff and it just doesn't seem to work. I don't know, I can't tell you, it just doesn't work. So yeah, for now, there's no access to DLSS. When DLSS does work, whenever they fix it, if it's either a game engine issue, if implementation not working, driver overhead issue, or a straight up driver bug, once they fix it, you'll be able to throw it on and get hugely higher performance. Like here, you know, we're at high with RT, we're not hitting a VRAM wall at all, we're getting close-ish to 60. So normally once you throw on DLSS here, you'd be up to like 70 or even 80. And once they fix whatever the heck is going on, it'll work. That's what we'll end up getting it working. And you can see that the CPU usage is way up now with ray tracing, right? So it is very well possible that, you know, something in the pipeline here is screwing it up. We shouldn't be hitting such a bad CPU bottleneck. I don't know why. With ray tracing maybe, but I mean it just doesn't make sense. There's something wrong with it. But however, you can still play, right? Like we'll come back here. I'll just do a quick run in now. So this is 1600p. Actually, you know what? Let's do 1440p. Just see what it's at. Maybe you're going to output to an external screen. So we'll go like this. We'll go down. Just, I don't want to make this video like 2 hours long. Okay, so now we're at 1440p, which is a little bit easier to run. 1440p high with RT, and it's going to be around 60-ish. Very similar to, and this is what I've noticed on other GPUs. It's similar to Ultra, around there. High RT is similar to Ultra on the GPUs I've tested. And that even includes, not just NVIDIA, that includes AMD, and it includes Intel, like Intel Panther Lake. This is fantastic, right? Like good lows, 34. The average is good. So yeah, like you're not getting 60, but you're getting 51. It's fine. Daredevil. Right? It's really not that bad. Okay, we'll play with a little bit more settings here. We don't need to do too much. It doesn't have to be super long, but we can see there the game's going to run just fine. We'll put it back up to 1600p because again, most laptops these days use that. We'll come back here, and this is what I normally do. So you know, we can't use extreme for VRAM. It's too much. It's also too much of a demand. So what we can do here is we can go high and we can turn up some other stuff. So we'll go high, preset. We're going to turn the car up to extreme. We're going to turn reflections up to extreme. because the car is right in front of you, right? It's literally sitting right in front of the screen. It's sitting there. So I've turned everything up to medium. We don't have a VRAM issue, and it brought down some of the raw calculations. So it's going to give us the 60 experience. However, I did turn up some of the details on the car, so it just looks better, right? Like, that's pretty good. I'm actually going to turn one more thing before I do this full little run here. And you can see, you know, we had the reflections on the car. I will actually turn on, rather than screen space reflections, we're going to turn on ray trace reflections. So this is a mix. Ray tracing with some high, with some extreme. But the ray tracing is focused right now on the car, which is right in front of you. So it's a good idea. And this is probably how I'll end up playing. Like a high, I have a 5070, but I also need to worry about VRAM on mine. Like I can't go any higher than this, regardless, because I hit VRAM issues. So I would play something like this, like a high, extreme, and some RT turned on, but not everything, just use presets. And it's running really well, right? This screen is not a gaming screen, by the way, so if you see any screen tearing, don't worry about it. It's just a creator type screen. It doesn't have any FreeSync or G-Sync or anything like that. But this is good, right? This is good. This is fantastic. It's running really, really well. So that's pretty much that. You know, 1440p, 1600p, no problem. It's going to run amazing. Lots of stuff you can do. Let's come, and you just have to worry about, you know, not go over your VRAM. But let's go 1200p like that. Turn up the performance. So we'll get probably an extra, you know, 15 or something, 20%. And there you go. This is if you have a 1200p screen, and I suspect a lot of people do with a 5050. It is possible. A lot of 5050s actually come on creator-style laptops, like, you know, professional and creator-style laptops, kind of as an auxiliary thing for accelerating your professional work rather than heavy gaming laptops. But they are on gaming laptops. So when you're into a professional type screen, a professional type laptop, you would probably have the higher resolution screen. Even stuff like, you know, the Lenovo Legion with the 5050, it has a 1600p screen. So, okay, now, can you do 4K? I mean, yes, you can, absolutely. We're going to have to turn on the settings because it's going to be too much with that. It's a very high preset, to be honest, or very high mix of settings. So what we'll do is we'll come here, we'll turn it down to medium, which is, we have more than enough VRAM for it to work. And it's going to be a nice, smooth experience. Now, that stuff is never accurate. Like, it also even tells us that we only have 8 to work with, 6.8 to work with, but we actually have 8 to work with. And the measurements are never accurate, just so you know. But so this is 4K medium. So if you're, you know, if you have a 5050 laptop, you slap it under a TV, throw it on medium, you're going to get good performance, almost 60, which is like a high level console experience. And the other thing is, again, DLSS isn't working right now. Get out of here. And again, it could be a CPU bottleneck. I don't know, something in the pipeline, but I'm expecting more driver. And it could be drivers loading up the CPU. I don't know. There's something in the pipeline that's screwed up. And just to show you, right? So the CPU is not at full usage or anything like that. We will come in here. We can throw on DLSS all the way up to ultra performance, which is like so much DLSS. So rather than having 52 FPS, we should have like 100 FPS. And what did we gain there? 10? 10 FPS? That doesn't make sense. If even that. Maybe like 4 FPS, 5. Going from no scaling at 4K to ultra performance scaling should literally double your FPS or more. There's no more increase to the CPU usage you can see up there. The FPS is unchanged. So I just wanted to prove here that DLSS does not work, even at 4K, which is heavily CPU bound. Heavily GPU bound. And we don't have RT, we don't have anything else. We don't have frame gen on. Frame gen loads up the CPU a little bit too. It's just not working. And again, I've tried, this is my 6th or 7th system I've tested so far. So I don't know what's up. But the good thing is it runs even without the scaling. Like, runs well without the scaling. So you don't need it. So, you know, the fact that it runs without it means that even if they never fix it and for some reason you can never use DLSS, it runs fine. But hopefully they will, and most likely they will. Whatever it is, they'll fix whatever it is, and then it'll work fine. You can see, like, it's on. DLSS is on because there's weird behaviors up there, but it's not doing anything. It's not increasing our performance. And I don't know enough about like the specifics of like what is within the drivers and that. See, now it's gone. So it was on. DLSS was on, but it wasn't increasing our performance to an adequate level, right? Because that is now fully stable. So whatever it is, it's not working properly. I don't know, but I suspect it will be working down the road. However, if you're like, well, that sucks, and yeah, it does suck, That's kind of where NVIDIA is at now. I mean, they don't care about gamers anymore. I'm going to be quite frank. We all know that. They're an AI company now. Gamers aren't even secondary. They're like, they're not even they're not even at the table. But game developers do care about NVIDIA. And NVIDIA, you know, they'll put out just basic drivers these days. And even if they're kind of borked, game developers do care about NVIDIA because it has the largest market share. And so we can see here that this game is well optimized for NVIDIA in general. It also works just as well on AMD and Intel. Technically, it works better on Intel and AMD, but it still runs well on NVIDIA. And, you know, Hardware Unbox also did some GPU testing, and the 5070 Ti desktop also was shockingly low compared to AMD. I have a 5070 Ti and I have a 9070 XT. My 9070 XT is approximately the same as an NVIDIA GPU, approximately. They're very, very close. Every game is different, but they're close. But in this game, NVIDIA is getting crushed by AMD, and it shouldn't be like that. So something's up. And I suspect it's not game optimization. There's no way that Xbox studios would be like, let's not optimize for NVIDIA. Like, no one is insane enough to do that. But NVIDIA doesn't give a shit. Like, this driver is from the 12th. The game's already out. It's the 19th. And I'm sure that they'll put out some new drivers. But yeah, it'll work just fine. It'll work just fine. I've had no problems with any of the NVIDIA stuff. Just, you know, mind your VRAM and, you know, the settings. You can tweak them. Go with a custom setting and you'll be happy.